Hello everyone, and welcome to my bold and beautiful official channel. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Hope rages over a fake tumor and medications, and she blasts Grace for scamming Liam. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Hope Logan will accuse Grace Buckingham of defrauding Liam Spencer. Here's what fans should anticipate, since Hope will be furious over Grace pretending to have Liam's tumor and changing his medication. When John Finnegan finally discovers what Grace has been concealing, the week will put her in a terrible situation. Grace will try her hardest to keep things private, but Finn won't stand in for her. It appears that Finn will learn enough to conclude that Liam's inoperable brain tumor was never there in the first place. Grace will eventually confess her wrongdoing and tell the whole unpleasant story when Finn confronts her. Grace might admit that she needed quick cash because of obligations she owes, possibly as a result of Dr. Reese Buckingham's previous errors. Everything suggests that Grace misled Liam into thinking he had a deadly brain tumor by utilizing scans from another patient. Grace reportedly gave Liam medicine after that to make him believe his tumor was becoming worse. Bill paid $1 million for a completely fraudulent treatment that was part of the scheme's last phase. Finn will now bring Grace to Bill's estate and insist that she tell Liam about all of this as well. Hope will have a front row seat to Grace's startling account of events, since she will be seeing Liam when Finn and Grace arrive. No matter how sorry Grace is and how many reasons she makes, Hope won't accept any of them. You can bet that Hope will become enraged at Grace's devious deception. Hope would wonder what type of person, particularly a doctor who has vowed to do no harm, would lead a man and those closest to him to believe he is dying. Hope could disagree with Grace's claim that Liam was never in any actual danger, because she had him undergo that phony operation when he was recuperating from a gunshot wound. Liam most certainly didn't need to be risking his recuperation by leaving the hospital. Since Liam didn't have a brain tumor that required removal, it was all completely unnecessary. Hope will also want to talk about how awful it was to make Liam think he was leaving two young daughters in mourning. Hope and Steffi Forrester had already begun to consider what they would say to Beth and Kelly Spencer about their dying father. Hope will be quite critical of Grace for this nightmare of a plan and the pain it has caused, even though she will still be pleased that Liam isn't truly facing a dire future. That also applies to Liam, Hope, Steffi, and now Bill, who just spent a fortune for nothing. Nick's ring for Brooke causes Rich to panic. While John Finnegan, Tanner Novlin, discovers that he simply cannot stop searching for answers, Rich Forrester will become anxious regarding Nick Marone's ring for Brooke Logan, according to The Bold and the Beautiful. Finn and Bridget Forrester were finally able to confront Grace at the hospital, but it didn't do much. Grace gave no information about Liam Spencer's purported cutting-edge procedure. Naturally, Finn still wants to see Liam's complete medical records, because he doesn't understand what's going on. Finn will continue his investigation even if Grace begged him to believe her, and tried to defer all the questions. Finn will soon discover that Grace has been operating a brain tumor scam, so tune in to see how much he learns in this episode. Finn will undoubtedly hear some startling news shortly. Now that he has personally saw Nick's proposal ring for Brooke, Eric Forrester will warn Ridge in the interim. Eric will be much more motivated as a result to get Ridge and Brooke back together before it's too late. Ridge will lose it and believe he must act quickly after learning more about Nick's plans for a marriage proposal. Ridge intends to halt Brooke's planned boat trip, because he doesn't want her to consent to marry Nick. Nick will, of course, ratchet up the romanticism and turn on the charm. Nick will treat Brooke like royalty and go out of his way to make her feel like the queen of his heart. Eventually, Brooke will go on Nick's boat, but she will make the mistake of lying on the back. It won't be a very safe position, and when Nick loses control, it will be easier for Brooke to fall off. In the upcoming episodes, Brooke will make a big impression, but assistance is on the way. That's because after Brooke is flung into the sea, Ridge will make a splash of his own and save her. Eric fulfills Nick and Brooke's dreams. Spoilers for The Bold and the Beautiful hint at the rising angst and romance in Italy as Eric steps in once more. Brooke Logan was furious and simply couldn't handle it any longer following their incredible boat journey toward the Isle of Capri. What was all that romance about? When they got back to Los Angeles, Ridge Forrest was still adamant about getting married to Taylor Hayes. Brooke told Ridge she was going home because she didn't want to be among the crazy people any longer, but Ridge stopped her and pleaded with her not to go. At last, Ridge comes to terms with the fact that he still has feelings for Brooke. But what will he do about Taylor, whom he almost murdered when he turned her down the last time? What about the man who has been pleading with Brooke to give him a chance, Nick Marone? Nick has vowed to love Brooke and Brooke alone after all. Unlike Ridge, who has always had a divided heart, he does not. For many years, Nick's remarks have taken Brooke aback, but it's nothing in comparison to how she feels when she is in the presence of her destiny. Eric Forrester will not allow Nick to discover Brooke and Ridge and jeopardize all of his ambitious ambitions. For months he has been trying to convince Ridge that he is more at home with Brooke. His son should have Brooke if Eric is unable to have her, and he will continue to play pickleball with Donna Logan while settling for Brooke's younger sister. After all the times that Ridge has harmed Brooke over the years, Nick doesn't believe Eric when he says that Brooke and Ridge are meant to be together. Unfortunately for Nick, Eric is unyielding and prevents Nick from locating Brooke. He will not be going back to Los Angeles without Brooke and Ridge together. He doesn't care how much he might harm Taylor, his housemate. She might once more be the odd woman out. To everyone's surprise, Brooke picks Nick. On The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke Logan has been waiting months for Ridge Forrester to recognize her as his true love. But was it a few minutes too late when he eventually figured it out? In Naples, Italy, fireworks are in the air. But Brooke might change his mind at the last minute. Below are spoilers for what will happen next on Bold and Beautiful. On the daytime soap opera, Brooke Logan has been pleading with Ridge Forrester for a second chance for months. Ridge claims to have moved on from his ex, yet he insisted on becoming engaged to Taylor Hayes. It's easy to tell that Ridge still has feelings for Brooke, and Italy is rekindling many of those romantic feelings. According to spoilers for Bold and the Beautiful, he will face some opposition when he chooses to approach Brooke in Naples. Given that he has already spent 3 days with Brooke and is going all out, Nick Marone's resolve to pop the question in Europe is strange. Brooke admitted to Ridge throughout their week together that she's sick of arguing with him. The prospect of getting married to her other ex-boyfriend Nick Marone would be refreshing and the change Brooke has been seeking. According to teasers on The Bold and the Beautiful, Brooke Logan will have to decide. After Ridge left her for Taylor Hayes, will she be hesitant to return? Or will Brooke shut Ridge down and tell him to go back to his fiancée, shocking both Ridge and the viewers at home? Brooke apparently made up her mind. She took Nick's hand. The next day, however, she was back in her hotel room by herself. She listened to music in an attempt to maximize her alone time. When Ridge knocked on her door, she didn't answer. Eric arrived at her door later. He wasn't going to hold back. Brooke was informed by Eric that he desired her to be with his son. However, he was also aware that his son was a jerk who enjoyed switching between two women. Following their chat, Brooke changed and took a stroll around the city. She kept thinking about the abrasive exchange she had with Ridge. When Katie arrived back in Los Angeles, Taylor was in the middle of a crucial call. The fact that the leading psychologist worked from home thrilled her. She had to assess how she was feeling about her relationship with Ridge and check in with her. Although Taylor felt confident in her relationship, at least that's what she told herself, Katie couldn't wait to inform her that Brooke and Ridge were in the most romantic city on earth. She is hopeful that she will eventually be able to accompany Ridge to Italy. Will that ever occur though? Particularly because whenever he and Brooke are in Rome together, he gets the hots for her. Finn was still thinking about Liam's incredible comeback. When he expressed his worries to Bridget, she dismissed him. Grace continued to ignore his texts and phone calls. She arrived at the office at last. Grace was informed by Finn that she had been summoned for interrogation. Will she eventually tell the truth about Liam's diagnosis and course of treatment?